Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. My name is Lucas, and today we're going to be talking about a topic that I find very interesting because these aren't traditional SEO strategies. They are more, obviously, they're called Black Hat SEO strategies. You want to take them with a grain of salt, meaning you want to be careful with how you implement them. You don't want to abuse these strategies, but it's very good to know that these strategies exist. And I'm actually in this website called blackhatworld.com, and it's basically like a forum like Reddit, for example, but for Black Hat SEO strategies. So you have, for example, looking to buy sidebar links, running white pages in foreign GEOs, which is a topic that we're going to be talking about shortly. Google Ads and cloaking, need instructions on creating white pages, stuff on Google Ads, and you have different categories, right? Black hat, white hat, blogging, black hat tools. We have a marketplace even. We have link building. We have SEO packages, social media, affiliate programs, making money. There's a bunch of different things to kind of look at here. But in this case, we're just going to go over here and click on Black Hat SEO and see what comes out. Now, the first article or forum post that I found on Black Hat World that I found pretty interesting to share with you guys is this one called Ranking Number 1 is for Amateurs, One Spot Isn't Enough. It's a pretty long article. I'll have the link to this in the description below, but he goes through a few different topics that I find pretty interesting. And what's funny is that I brought this article into ChatGPT to help me, kind of create like a nice guideline and for you to understand how this works, right? So the normal way SEO works, right? Normally SEO is simple. You make one page, you usually try to rank for not just one keyword, maybe multiple keywords. And it says over here, if you rank number 1, great. If not, you fight competitors, right? So the initial idea is that you're trying to rank for the number 1 spot on one specific keyword for one blog post. So let's assume that this is our blog post and we have all of our content over here, and one of these keywords we're trying to rank number 1 in the Google search. But the author of this forum post basically said the article exploits modern search behavior. People don't click one result anymore, right? You and me, we both know that, right? When we're looking for a specific answer, or when we're brainstorming on something, or when we're trying to look at different options, we look at different sources, right? So not just one page in our search, right? Let's imagine that this is Google search and we have different options to look at. We don't just look at this first one. We want to look at all of them because they all seem to be pretty trustworthy. So as you can see, they click result number 2, not just result number 1. They click result number 5, which is down here. They skim through everything. They click on Reddit, which is another very, trustworthy platform, which comes together with Parasite SEO. Then they open a doc, compare, then decide the creative leap is this. What if every result they click is secretly mine? So the strategy here is this. Create 4 to 6 different parasite pages, right? All targeting the same keyword. So you have one keyword, right? Let's just put KW to indicate the keyword. And then you have different sources. Let's say this is Reddit. Let's say that this is Medium over here. And let's say that you have a few other ones that basically talk about your brand and this one keyword. And it also says each one looks like it's coming from a different person. So that's obviously very important, that you just want to just show like that this is, Roger, and that this is David over here. And each has a different format and tone. Maybe one can have like more of a visual aspect to it. One can have more of a text-based aspect. One can be more of a video source. To the user, it feels like multiple independent sources, consensus, and social proof. It gives them trust. Obviously, to you, it's just one funnel, one offer, multiple entry points, right? These are multiple entry points going to that one place rather than just having one entry point that's just ranked number 1. And why doesn't Google stop this? Well, this works because of 3 blind spots. Different domain, different entities, right? You're using different domains. You're using Notion docs or GitHub or SlideShare or Reddit or Medium. User-generated platforms are trusted by default. You can search anything online and you'll see Reddit options to choose from. You'll see Circle. You'll see different types of user-generated platforms that create trust in Google. and Google blocks one site from taking many spots. So if you're just one site and you're posting many sites, it's gonna try to prevent that Google feed, that's Google search feed, to be covered with your site. It wants to have it diversified. And going back to these different authors, right, having different personalities, different tones, it's important because each page feels different. Casual diary, corporate checklist, Reddit style honesty, technical workthrough, bro to bro advice. So you have these different formats that are covered and basically shown going into one endpoint, which is that main keyword. And this, I would say, ladies and gentlemen, is like the main point of this specific blog post, right? So instead of this form, sorry, instead of one click, one decision, you want to diversify that. You want to have multiple ways of how the user enters and views that keyword to your brand. You didn't sell harder, you let the users sell themselves. Interesting quote by ChatGPT. Now, the next thing that I saw here is creating their own PBN network in 2025. This was just, right now it's January 2026, so this was just like 6 months ago, 7 months ago. I'm considering building my own private blog network to help boost the rankings of my private websites. Is it still worthwhile strategy in today's SEO landscape? I'm thinking of purchasing some less expensive age domains from marketplaces, publishing some relevant content on them, and then using tools like Ranker X or GSA search engine ranker to push backlinks. Now, a PBN is basically you create your own mini internet. Instead of earning links from real sites, you buy old domains that already have backlinks and history. Now, there are a few marketplaces where you can do this and buy old domains that already have visitors. Some of these domains, for example, people forget to pay them. You rebuild them with content so they look legit. Link from those sites to your money site to pass authority. So your money site basically being your actual site. And the creative part is the same mental trick as the Parasite article, but inverted, right? Parasite SEO borrows trust from big platforms you don't own, and PBN borrows trust from old domains you do own. And also in the forum post, he also said, and using tools like Ranker X or GSA search engine ranker to push backlinks. So why do the people do this? Those tools are used to create extra artificial link velocity, pointing at PBN pages so the PBN pages look popular and get indexed. So you're not building one link, you're building a link machine, going from all of these different tiers to your actual website. And this is basically the cost estimate as well. You need domains, you need hosting and setup, content, obviously, tools. So going back to the domain, cheap age domains, 30 to 150 bucks each. Think about spending, around 200 to 1,000. If you buy 10 domains, it could be around this range. Hosting and setup, you want to host your site as well. You want to add content so it doesn't look like a dead place. You want it to look legit, obviously. When is this worth it, or why, or for who? Well, the niche, it's most likely to work when the niche is low scrutiny, so not topics like health or finance. Competitors are weak, you're targeting long tails, and you're okay with churns, so just basically testing things out. And it's usually not worth it when it's a real brand you care about long term. You need stable rankings. The niche is heavily spam policed, and you can't afford the ongoing maintenance. And these are some variants that ChatGPT gave me. The white hat version is publish multiple assets coming across formats you actually own and can stand behind. So your site, but like we mentioned in the old article, it's not good to have multiple things coming from one site. That's why I think having this Parasite SEO diversity in different websites is actually a good strategy here. Now, the last thing here, $100 a day foreign Black Hat SEO with Google Translate plus Parasites. So this is foreign Black Hat SEO. And as you all know, English is I believe English is the language that is most spoken by in the world. Like you can have people from not only native English speakers like in the US or the UK or Australia, whatever, but you have countries like Spain or like in South America, Brazil, or I don't know, there's so many countries out there in the world that they have their own native language, but they speak English because they watch movies or they have a job where it's required to speak English. So English, there's a lot of content out there in the English language, and it's very hard to rank in for specific topics. That's why some people tend to go to foreign languages, let's say, you're trying to rank for like a specific keyword, and in English you have a lot of competitors, but in Portuguese or in French or in maybe something a little bit less spoken, like Dutch, for example, it's there's less competition, right? So I found this article pretty interesting as well. Basically, this person was writing about how they, as you can see over here, they've been ranking garbage Google Docs in Spanish on page 1 in 48 hours and getting leads insanely fast. So Spanish is not their site's main language, but they're using the Spanish language to kind of push out content and rank high and get traffic so that their site gets a little bit more trust in the eye of Google. So the normal assumption people make, most SEO advice assumes English market have heavy competition, and people fight over perfect content backlinks. So there's a bunch of competition, but the creative insight that powers this whole thing is that Google is not equally smart everywhere. In English, advanced spam detection; in many smaller language markets, much simpler checks, less competition, less active moderation, and fewer SEOs gaming the system. And this is a good quote from the author. I don't need to beat Google at its strongest. I just need to operate where it's weakest. So why translation is the cheat code? Well, this method abuses a simple truth. Google mostly checks, is the page on a trusted domain? Is the content in the correct language? Does it match the query enough? Again, everything is search intent, satisfying search intent in your website, no matter the language. So when you write something once, you translate it and then lightly humanize it, you're already doing more than 95% of local competitors. And again, obviously Parasite SEO plays a big role, even more in foreign markets. So Parasite pages work everywhere, but they're especially powerful here. Why? Because Google trusts these different pages that, plus Reddit, plus Circle, plus whatever Medium. In weak markets, the trust is almost unconditional. So half readable Romanian page on a Canvas site looks more legitimate than a local blog, a random affiliate site, and a 10-year-old forum post. And that's why I tend to use Orval.com. And in Orval.com, you can go ahead, click on SEO article and type in any keyword you want. Let's say, for example, we want to do like rollerblades, and click on add keyword. Actually, I'm going to do a more niche one. Let's do like headshots, Los Angeles, for example. And we can click on add keywords. And then we can edit the input here. So we have a bunch of ways we can generate a title here if we wanted to, and so on and so forth. But over here, if we go to content, we can change the language, and we have so many different languages here. We can put, for example, Spanish, and then we have the target country. If you're speaking the Spanish language, for example, you know that there are so many different accents and dialects and ways of saying certain things. For example, like Argentinian Spanish can be different to Colombian Spanish, right? So in this case, let's choose, like, for example, Argentina as the target country. You can choose your tone of voice, being sarcastic, informal, formal, funny, whatever you want, depending on your brand. And then at the end, basically, you can add all of this, right? Click on Save Changes. And once your site is created, you get something like this with a bunch of different paragraphs. You get these different AI generated images. You have the ability to basically highlight anything if you want and add, for example, external links to a specific paragraph. And then at the end, it's just so easy. You can just connect your website, publish the article, and it automatically publishes to your website, whether it be WordPress, Webflow, Shopify, you name it. So yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions about any Black Hat strategies, please let me know down in the comments below. And again, thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.